when will you go for a private permissionless, right? And when will you go for a public permission? When will you go for a private permission? This permutation combinations, right? Very simple. First thing is, do we really need a blockchain, right? And then only we need to talk about what types of blockchain, right? So do you need to store the state of the system? You know, when you go from the Genesis block to block 1 to block 2, by storing that the root of the Merkle as well as the hash, we are actually storing the state 1, state 2, state 3, including the timestamp and everything, right? At any point of time, we can reproduce the thing also. If you don't want to store the state, I'm interested only in the transaction, then I don't use the blockchain. Better you don't go for a blockchain if you don't want to store the into the system. Simply you can utilize any other databases like SQL, right, or Oracle, or all those databases where you want to only store the data and retrieve the data. No problem. I put some conditions also, right? So there we can go for a, of course, right, in Oracle also now they are bringing in the storing the state. We'll talk about it later. So when you don't want to store the state, don't go for a blockchain. Next one is, yes, I want to store the state. Next question is, are there multiple writers? Are there multiple writers of the block? No, I'm the only person. I want to keep blockchain. Better you don't use blockchain. Because even if you want to maintain the state, right, if you are there are multiple writers are not there, then better you don't go for a, somebody is asking the question, what is the state? See, state is something, right? It's like a time travel, right? I want to go to my childhood state. Is it possible? No, it's not possible, right? You assuming it is possible, then that is what we are calling it as a state, right? We can start converting from the Genesis block, first block, second block, third block, like that we can go. So that is what simply called as a state. Yeah. So that is a fundamental thing. Yeah. I will not differentiate state from transaction. Okay, actually, okay, that is what I tried to explain in the previous slide. So transactions is nothing but, for example, I want to give money to somebody. A party A want to give the money to B, and party B want to give something to C. It is a chain of transaction. There we are not maintaining the state. State include the time. No, now who gives the first? Right? The problem comes in the 2008 or 2009 in the financial thing, right? The crash happened because they don't want to maintain the state, right? That is what the dual spending happens. So I put the money in the bank. I don't want to maintain the state. Okay, now bank uses loan, give it to somebody. Somebody buy the loan, and they actually invested in the real estate, and the real estate people get some money and they invested in IT industry, right? It is going like a chain of transaction. Nobody wants to maintain the state. If state is being maintained, those kind of transaction might not have occurred. Hope you are able to understand, right? That is actually called as a double spending. Particularly the credit card system is the biggest problem, right? So because of the introduction of the credit card, that is also one of the reason why this the financial meltdown had happened in the 2000s. So state is different and transaction is different. Whereas in the financial industry, we maintain the transaction, but we are not maintaining the state. State means what? One money cannot be used for something else, right? So the double spending and all those things, right? That had happened. So that is what finally everything got melted down. I think professor was trying to listed down what happened in the way before this paper on the blockchain came in the year 2009 November, right? What happened in the September and all he listed down, right? That is actually the difference between a state and a transaction. Yeah. Yes. Okay. You can simply call the transaction with the timestamp is a simple state. Yes, you are right. But there are a lot of additions. There are a lot of things are also added to it. Yeah. So are there multiple writers? Are there? No, then don't go for a blockchain. All right. The next question is, now, can you use always an online trusted third party? Right. Again, the best example quoted by professor also, the bank is a trusted third party, right? Even though the money is getting transacted from say party A to party B, we do it through the banks because we believe the banks and there is a recording, there is a trust in the bank and they also record it. That is why all the white money transaction we go through the bank. So I always give the check and that ensure that my money is white and the person who is getting the money also is being maintained as a white money. Okay. So if there is a online trusted third party is possible, you want it to be there, trusted third party, then don't use the blockchain, right? So, right, this is also one of the problem of implementation of the blockchain in the banking industry. I'm sure that application of the blockchain and the limitation of blockchain, right? They'll be talking about it. So banks actually wanted to be always the center point of attraction for any money transaction, right? So of course, the introduction of the cryptocurrency has nothing to do with the banking or regulations, but still they are not allowing, right? They will not accept some other currency in the name of the fiat currency, or they want to put some rules, right, etc. So if you have a third party, then don't use the blockchain. So we already discuss about what is a trusted third party is all about. Now you see here, are all writers known? Or all writers are known? Meaning I know who is going to write it. Yes, I know the person A, I know person B, I know person C, right? Or all writers are trusted, then don't use the blockchain. It's as simple as that, right? I have 10 friends of mine. I give the money, I take the money. I'm completely having a trust on them. Then don't go for a blockchain, because writers are completely, see, in the previous case, I trusted the party. Now here, I trust I have a few writers. I know who they are. That is known. And I also trust them because they're all my friends. So will you maintain a ledger for your friends? How much money you gave it and all? Of course, in the large transaction we used to do. That's a different thing. But normally, as far as a friend is concerned, as far as a trust is there is no need for you to maintain it. So don't go for a blockchain. So this is a fundamental. Now, when you use the blockchain, really, or all writers are not known, after all this thing, then you go for a permissionless blockchain. We already discussed the first type is a permissionless blockchain, the Bitcoin, right? There you can go for it. So you see the condition, I want to store the state, yes. Or there are multiple writers, yes. Do you want to use the third party, trusted third party? No. Or all writers are known? There, no. It's a public. So I go for a permissionless blockchain. Now, you see the next one, or all the writers are trusted? No, I'm not trusting. See, I don't want a third party, but I don't trust the writers. That is why I go for a system called public verifiability record. I will go for a verification. Who is doing the transaction? Yes. Then I will go for a public permissioned block. Why public permissioned blockchain? Because I don't trust the writers. Who is going to write the block? So I have something called verifiability software again. Then I will go for a public permissioned blockchain. So only permissioned people, but they're still public. Okay. Now, the next type is public verifiability required. The answer is no. Then straight away go for a private permissioned blockchain. Right? In the private permission blockchain, public verifiability is not required. Writers are also not trusted. But one thing is an advantage here. I know who is the writer. Listen here. I know who is the writer. First, see the first arrow. Are all the writers are known? Yes. Right? Are all the writers are trusted? I don't trust it. But however, I also don't want to have a verifiability. Since all the writers are known, I go for a private permissioned blockchain. So this is how you use the different types of blockchain. And this, I'm sure this will give you the fundamental idea about when to use permissionless blockchain, when to use public permission blockchain, when to use private permission blockchain, and last but not the least, when not to use the blockchain.